Biggie did not pay for his own funeral. And this is what I mean. You guys are attacking me because I'm like, I want to know the source. I want to know the resource. I want to know if these people were vetted on the documentary. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Lauren LaRosa went on the Breakfast Club this morning and said she talked to Wayne Barrow. Wayne Barrow was helping Miss Wallace, working with her since Biggie's passing. He said that there is no way that Mrs. Wallace would let that happen. He confirmed that it was Bad Boy that paid for Biggie's funeral. On top of that, he said that Rolling Stone cover, they were managing Biggie's estate. So if Biggie had the cover of Rolling Stone, they would have known about it.
Welcome to the Common Sense Philosophy channel. Today's video is called Biggie Paid for His Own Funeral. Biggie paid for his own funeral. This Diddy documentary called The Reckoning was very interesting for many reasons. You know, even with the concern that 50 Cent, Curtis Jackson is the one that executive produced it under his company, with the whole thing with Diddy, Sean Combs having relations with his so-called baby's mother or one of his children. I think we have to take all that into, in the whole thought process. And so we have to take that for what it is. A lot of the stuff these people were saying, I don't know if they were actually vetted. So it was a lot being said, and I'm not sure how to really take that. Was it entertaining? I watched all four episodes, somewhat entertaining, but true and honest, I don't know. And this whole thing about Biggie's funeral and he paying for it, they're making Notorious B.I.G. pay for it. I don't believe that, because, and I'm going to say why, because this was never said why his mother was alive, because I know she would have immediately came out and said something. And then the guy that actually worked with Big when he was alive and also worked with his mother on his estate while she was alive came out and said, it's not true. There was no contract, funny stuff. And it was not charged to his record deal, the funeral itself. So under that, I'm going to lean more towards that than someone that has been away from the whole business for over 10 plus years, a decade or so. You know, I'm going to lean away from that because I've lived long enough, and I know people love to just say stuff for the excitement of the moment. You know, if you think in your own life, some of the stuff people might say about you. That's why on this channel, Common Sense Philosophy, we never just talk bad about nobody. We always look at all the points, because we understand in the media. That's one of the reasons we even started this channel, so we can give different points of view, because I'll be around different people and I don't see what people try to say about them, and I don't always like it. So, you know, just continue to come and check us out at Common Sense Philosophy channel, and we're going to show some more clips, and check them out and like and subscribe on your way out. We really appreciate it. I want to talk to you guys soon, okay? All right, you guys have a good day.
Biggie did not pay for his own funeral. And this is what I mean. You guys are attacking me because I'm like, I want to know the source. I want to know the resource. I want to know if these people were vetted on the documentary. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Lauren LaRosa went on the Breakfast Club this morning and said she talked to Wayne Barrow. Wayne Barrow was helping Miss Wallace, working with her since Biggie's passing. He said that there is no way that Mrs. Wallace would let that happen. He confirmed that it was Bad Boy that paid for Biggie's funeral. On top of that, he said that Rolling Stone cover, they were managing Biggie's estate. So if Biggie had the cover of Rolling Stone, they would have known about it. They would have had to okayed it. They never did. So when Puff was on the cover of Rolling Stone, that had really nothing to do with them, because they did not have like a contract or anything saying that Biggie was going to be on there, because it would have had to pass through them. Now, could they have sent it to Bad Boy and be like, we want Biggie, and then Bad Boy just responded, no, you're going to get Puff? Sure, that could have happened. But it is clear that the documentary had one agenda. And I'm going to say this for the millionth time. This does not mean I'm a Puff advocate. I just like facts and I like sources. I like to know where my source is coming from. You have a shady guy like Clayton Howard, okay, who's suing me for defamation on there talking about Cassie, the relationship. His story has changed. And then he posts a video saying that they edit out everything that he said about Cassie because he is a victim of Cassie and Diddy. Did you see that in the documentary? Don't worry. I know you guys are going to double down in the comments. I still believe the whole documentary. You can. Just because it's on Netflix does not make it true. And I told you that because I reviewed a documentary before and I saw that they left out so many things. I reviewed a whole different documentary for Netflix. And when I went in and I digged and I done my research, I'm like, why did Netflix leave all of this out? Already, you're unreliable. All I'm saying, sources, who you're getting your facts from is very important.
Revealed in the Diddy documentary is what he did after Biggie passed away. Diddy wanted to throw Biggie the biggest, most extravagant funeral that New York had ever seen. And that's what he did. Everyone in New York showed up to that funeral. But the co-founder of Bad Boys, Kirk Burrows, claims that Diddy allegedly made the funeral a recoupable charge to Biggie in his death after he saw how much it was going to cost. Throughout the documentary, there are multiple times where Diddy calls Biggie one of his closest friends, his best friend, and even one of the only people that he's ever trusted. So he gets everyone in New York to come together to celebrate Biggie's life, and it makes him look like this great guy. But he forgets to mention that the royalties that Biggie was making posthumously is what was paying for the funeral. And what's even more fucked up is what happens next. Biggie was slated to be on the next cover of Rolling Stone magazine until Diddy made a call to pull the cover so that he could take Biggie's spot to promote his solo album No Way Out that was going to come out soon after. And there's still more. Before Biggie passed away, he was negotiating a new contract with Bad Boy, and they gave him everything he wanted. After he passed, Diddy allegedly asked his business partner to change some of the terms after Biggie had already signed it without his mom or family knowing so that they would be more favorable for Bad Boy. Kirk, the co-founder, said that that wasn't right and he wouldn't do it, and 9 months later he was fired. Meanwhile, Diddy is becoming a rock star, dancing on national television with Sting as a tribute to his best.
Speak to Wayne Burrow, who worked with Miss Violetta Wallace, who is the mother of Biggie Smalls and managing her son's estate. Now he reached out to me, or I reached out to him, and then he was like, okay, I'm willing to get on the phone with you because he says that a lot of people have been blowing them up following this documentary, and he wanted to speak out, and he made it clear that this is on behalf of Miss Violetta Wallace. He says there are a few allegations that he wanted to address from the doc. So number one, there's this allegation from the documentary that Diddy used Biggie's record label deal, or his own money, Biggie's own money, to pay for Biggie's funeral. So Wayne tells me that that is completely not true, that he himself officiated the funeral and planned it along with Kirk Burrows, who is in the documentary, Bad Boy staff, and that Bad Boy paid for everything. At no point was there any indication that any royalty statement that this would be coming from Biggie's account. So the family never paid for anything in regards to the funeral. He said Bad Boy and Diddy covered everything from the cars to the police, to the funeral itself. And they wanted to make that clear. And he also says that it's disrespectful that anybody would even imply that, you know, Miss Wallace, Biggie's mom, or any of his close friends would even be that naive to allow something like that to happen and not catch it as they're watching the royalty statements and just different things that are coming in. He also talk to me a bit about the contract conversation. So there is a claim in the doc, and this has been a claim that's been circulating for some time, that right before Biggie's passing, there was an issue with contract negotiations between Diddy and Biggie Smalls. He says that that is completely not true as well. He says that life after death was already done, so there was no contract negotiations happening. He says based on the sales and of the records and how everything was moving, Biggie had already recouped. So at that point, there was nothing to be talked about. But they did go back into a negotiation because they put out more music following the death of Biggie Smalls, and the conversation they had then was just about how that would happen and, you know, how splits would be. But that whole conversation around the contract and there being an issue with that as well, there's nothing to talk about. He says the contract was the contract and people just need to leave it at.